Right. Camera setup is for testing purposes only, I will admit, as you can probably see by that there. This is the camera that doesn't have a screen. As you would see here, I have a Land Rover LT230 with CDL, and here is a very interesting package. It is, I'm not sponsored by Synchro Gearboxes in any way, shape or form. I'm not told to promote their product, I've just got it because I like different things, and well, I'm irresponsible with money, but I've got high hopes for this. What this is, I'll actually open it up on camera. I did take the receipt out, that's why it's all like this. But ooh, I do love packages, I'm not going to lie. Oh, it sounds very good. Oh. I can barely contain the excitement. But this is a part-time four-wheel drive conversion kit for an LT77. That's it right here. Hold it to the camera. What this is, inside here is a differential, and when you have, like this is open, so that you'd have the engine here, gearbox, sends power into here, through the gears, and then these are your outputs. This would be the front one, this would be the rear, that's your handbrake drum. That's your diff. Now, we'll lock it. As you can see, that's now locked. As you can heard, actually the bearings are really bad in this, but this is just for practicing. What it actually does is, it'll be always in rear wheel drive until you engage diff lock, and then what it'll be doing is sending power to the front as well, but it'll be primary rear wheel drive, like an old series that I'm familiar with. Best bit is, because it's sort of like an inferior bolting part, so to speak, if I don't like it I can always convert it back to full time. This isn't going in the 110, I will admit. This is just for practicing because I've never ever opened one of these, so I've brought this just as to have it on the bench and take it apart, rebuild, take it apart, rebuild, so I can be more a practice unit, so to speak. But I'm going to practice with putting this in. If I feel confident, then I'll go ahead and do it on the actual 110 itself. I'm not going to do a demonstration video on how to fit it because I'm not an expert. As I've said, this will be the first time I've ever opened one of these up. They do have a fitting video on their website, which I highly recommend you watching if you're interested in this. And it tells you how to actually fit it correctly, which I will be using as a guide. So this will be sort of a little yak about what I've brought, what I intend to do, and if I like it, I'll say. If I don't like it, as I say, I can always put it back to stock. Obviously I'll be re-shimming the gears in my one and putting in a new cross pin, because I believe standard they're two individual bits that are known for weakness, and you can get an uprated one, which these guys do actually sell, which is just one whole piece. But I believe it's all 10mm round. This is how I received it, so don't hate me for it. I believe I've got to take this linkage out first. I might just leave the camera on, sort of like a time lapse if I figure out how to do it. I am currently using a old musician's what's it called? Tripod. Where this is actually the rest of it. You'd have your music piece here. We do all that stuff. But it was going to be chucked out in the rubbish, and I've sort of Frankenstein something up with a lot of zip ties because it obviously was no good. So I'm going to use it for my camera. As I say, I've never done this before. What I will be doing is when I get this bit off, the front output, I will be placing it on a bit of cardboard, drawing around it with a pen, and then poking holes in where the bolts actually go. So when I take my one off for the 110, I can take the bolts out of wherever I've took it, place it in the card, so they'll be going in the exact same hole that they came out of, which I highly recommend anyone doing because it's a very sensible thing to do. Anyone that's ever done anything and lost bolts will agree with me that's a good idea. Chap I brought this from did actually say it's suitable for either like scrap or rebuild. I only got it, as I say, to practice taking apart and rebuilding, because I want to, you know, familiarise myself as much as I can. I do have workshop manuals currently to. Cool. That stinks. That looks like there's water in there. I do have workshop manuals. 2 of them to hand are the same year, the same specs, but there's very different makes, and they've actually they say different things, which, yeah, I know, lovely. I do know these, especially on Discoveries, tend to actually seize up, because a lot of people don't know what the little gear lever's for, so this actually seizes, and that's not seized. That's a good sign. That's one way to tell if you get a Land Rover with a transfer lever, if it's been off-roaded a lot. Try putting it in high range and CDL. Usually if it won't go in, that means it's not been used for off-roading. If it's very smooth, then obviously it's been used for a lot of off-roading. I'll put them back in there so they don't go walkabouts. But in there I can see the diff. Can I move this camera without messing everything up? Excuse the stuff on the floor. That's the diff in there, that little thing with the black coal. It looks like it's got rust on it. Hopefully this setup of mine actually works. I currently have me, I'm using my phone as a screen for it. Hopefully it all works, because the camera doesn't have a screen on it, and my phone I can't use as a camera anymore, because the the camera's gone blurry, and as this is the best quality camera I've got, the only camera I've got, I'll admit, I thought I'd try and use this. I believe, yeah, in the video from Synchro Gearboxes, they actually say you got it. Just hopefully the camera just picked it up, but a bolt as I'm doing started smoking. Okay. Very odd. Anyway, it does say to reuse one of the gears, and then there's shims. Are they the shims? Yeah. Oh God! Either that's rusted in there. Bear in mind it's a steel bolt in a frame case, or there's a lot of sealant squidged in there. Now that is another thing actually. A lot of people say about use a gasket, a paper gasket, or these are definitely smoking, or sealant. And the problem with sealant is if you put too much, whatever squidges outside will squidge inside. How much life's in my battery? It's about half full. Very professional around here. Oh God! I've got the impact gun down there, but I barely use it because I prefer doing everything by hand. Because then I can feel if it's going tight, then I know to either back off or panic. It just smokes right there and then. We're currently at 9 minutes on the video. Oh God! As I say, this isn't going to be an installation video. I'm just sort of doing this on camera. I'm just leaving it going to test this setup of mine. I'll take that off so it get broke. But if this idea works, what I've got set up here, this will be absolutely brilliant, because I've got other projects and toys and whatnot I could actually do with having on a bench and doing this with. Because when I've done the Volvo clocks, I could have done with the camera higher. Now, as I say, it's the first time I've opened this box up. So the insides are unknown. You'll pretty much be seeing it opened up for the first time. My reaction will be genuine, so I don't know what I'm expecting. I don't expect a clean box, because I've got a funny feeling water has been in here. This is the part where I start losing stuff. Bolt down here. Oh, blimey. When I go to do mine, I am just going to see about if I can get this off the front output while it's in the vehicle. But the idea of me practicing doing this to see if it is somewhat possible, but if need be, I'll just drop the whole box. But that's the good thing about it, if you can get something like this and you've got like the space and the tools. Although granted I don't really have the space or the tools, but I'm just using what I've got just to try and familiarise myself. I should have actually said I'm using a 10mm spanner and a 10mm socket. Keeping my volume quite low, because as anyone knows, they tend to scare easily and I don't want to startle them. I didn't drain the oil out of this because I believe there's actually no oil in it anyway. Ooh, I think that's all of it. I think I meant to take something else off. I know there's a little ball bearing somewhere. I think it's to do with that. Do I need to take that off? I think I do. I'm going to take it off anyway. Someone's cooking something nice to eat. Oh, blimey! Oh, I'm not exaggerating, that is really tight. Here we go, that side. Already at 14 minutes and I've barely done anything. Yeah, as I say, let me know in the comments if you'd want to see. Oh, blimey! That's up tight. Yeah, if you want to see me break stuff on camera about it, let me know. Definite entertainment. Oh, it's not a problem. It's a practice which I knew about. So, and now we've undone two and snapped one. So I'm a bit professional. I've got a rubber mallet. Ugh. There's all sorts of stuff in there. Ew. But that's the idea of me doing all this, so it's actually like a practice, you know, break stuff and then whinge and moan and be in tears. Just waiting for what the comments of the video will be. Oh god, you're very unprofessional, you're breaking stuff. Going, yeah, that's how you get it off. Yeah, that's how I roll. Now with a bit of persuasion, get this off. I think I've missed one. Put Loctite in these bolts. Wait for it to slip. Smash my knuckles on the prop shaft bolts on the flange, and I'll be in tears over that. Still nowhere further. Get in there. I don't know how I'm going to do this video because it's meant to be just like me doing a quick little yak about that. Is it recording? It must be, it's got a counter on it. Well, I'll be in tears if it's not. There you go, silicone. That gluey stuff. It's all gone in the threads. That's why I'm having trouble with them all. Now it should come out easier. We have spittage. Oh, there's something disgusting in there. I've got all the bolts, haven't I? Oh, do I need to undo that one? I've got a funny feeling I do, but we'll take the hammer to it. Oh, yeah, I do. Oh! I'll stick it on pause. Where's all my tools? Well, that's right, I ain't got none, just spent everything on that. I don't know where they are. I'll stick my gun on there and hope for the best. So after a quick whiz on the electric gun that I'm not fond of using, that just undoes and that comes out. Watching for important bits to fall out with it, and I'm sure I don't need to take it off. Get it off! Bit of persuasion. Ooh, I've stuck my finger in it. I must be missing something. So I don't want to ram anything in there and get it out that way, but I might have to. There's definitely other bolts lying around that I've missed. Only ones that broke. Oh. Oh, here we go. Now we're getting somewhere. So I didn't need to take that output shaft off, and then I'm seeing a lot of rust. Oh. It's a bit painful to see something like that rusty. Excuse me. Ugh. Well, that's the inside. It's just leaked everywhere. So I didn't need to take that flange off. But now it's off. Yeah, that's got rust on it. Got to get the bearing off. Yeah, that stuff there is actually rust. As you can see there. There's a lot of rust. Rust. Right. Just finding stuff like this all fascinating. The fact that how it all works with the gizmos, and even there I can see it's got rust in it. It's obviously been underwater for a while. That's all going to fall out. That's how we want it all, just falling to bits. It saves me the job. What I'm going to do is unbung the camera on pause, stop, whatever. Get these bolts out. Then that's how you get to the gears to put the kit in. Ew. Lay down a bit. Right. Seems to be recording. Let's just hope it's actually recording. Right. I used an overly long screwdriver to wedge in there just to undo these. I did break off the cage of the needle bearing roller because obviously as it's all scrap, I just want to get familiar taking nuts and bolts off, putting it all back together. Yes, I understand I said I'll be doing practice in this, so I would be doing it all properly, cleaning this up, putting new bearings, etc. But I just want to familiarise myself with taking the bits, rebuild. Then when I feel a bit more confident doing this, then I'll be doing things like properly cleaning up. Kiki! Kiki! Oh, Kiki wants to come in now. Kiki! Needs new bearings obviously, but just as I say, practice. From when I've looked up on this, it said right here, it says 44, 44. They need to be matched up when you put that together. But I'm going to take it all off on camera. This is more for the fact that if I mess anything up, I've got the whole footage to go through. That's why it's a long video. I will make a shorter version of this, and I believe I need this as a persuasion. Oh, there we go. Let's get a torch down here. An illumination device. That there is your diff. And as I was saying about, it's got the two cross pins in there. I believe the military ones, it's one whole unit. I know synchro gearboxes do actually do an uprated version where this is one whole unit, and I did look at that. Then I remembered I was irresponsible and looked at other stuff. Then I found this kit and I was like, oh, let's get that. So that's how I got that. Oh god, that's bad. Yeah, I won't be scrapping this because obviously there's places out there that buy these that can actually refurbish them, but this would be perfect for me to practice doing this on. Obviously I should have been sensible and actually made sure there's no oil in it beforehand, just opening it up and hope for the best. But these are what I've got to get out. It's really quite cool actually. So there's the bit of backlash in it. I wonder if I can hold that still without blinded. I believe these need to come out with a bit of persuasion, so I put in a dirty screwdriver. It's the part where it pings out and spiders go everywhere, and I go. There we go. I'll take these out carefully, and there we go. Little gears. Yeah, so that will come out. Like that. If I use an actual bar, because that's more suitable for this, but people are cringing going, what are you doing? Oh, and I've dropped it. Well, if you do it incorrectly like I do, you get like pins, shims, gears all over the place, and you feel 10 times better. Deep down I'm feeling a bit bad that I'm doing this, but it's for practice purposes only. But this unit will actually go in here, like sort of like so, job done. So this replaces the gears. But I'm not going to be doing demonstration that, because obviously, as you've seen, I've done such a professional job getting this one to pieces. I won't be doing that. But I will be referring to their video on how to fit this correctly in this unit once I get past the stage of feeling confident taking this to bits and then rebuilding it. Yes, I know these need to go back in the exact order they come out, which unfortunately after being on the floor, I don't know. But so to speak, I'm just going to practice doing like that, putting back in, put back together, bolt it up to the correct torque specs, which I do have. I'm not going to put sealant in or anything like that. I will clean all these up with all crap and gunk. But literally just a case of take apart, rebuild, until I feel really confident I can try it on mine, and then moan at them at the side of the road because the entire internals have blown up and it's everyone else's fault except mine. But where are we at? I'm reckon probably about half an hour video. Yeah, when they're all done, put in numbers to numbers. I've not seen any videos online of anyone actually for the first ever time doing this. I think this is more of a suitable way of how I do stuff, because then I'm learning. As I'm doing it on camera, if I do mess it up, I can always watch the whole footage back and go, that's where I went wrong. Like for instance, snapping a bolt. I didn't do that correctly. I should have actually done heat, etc. But I was just itching to try a new toy I brought myself. But worst case scenario, I can always pay someone to fit professionally, which I'm more tempted to do, as you've just seen on camera. For a sensible thing to do would be to actually do that. But as I say, practice makes perfect. Everyone has to start somewhere. That's the main thing, and that's why I've got this box, just to practice taking the bits and, well, breaking to bits I should say, losing all the important stuff, and then just build it up in a more refined, economical fashion that doesn't require as many bits. I bet I don't need all these bolts. That's off of the bearing that I persuaded to come off. But other than that, I'll take it up in the world. Probably a bit too high. If this is the sort of stuff you want, can fall over. If this is the sort of stuff that you want, don't mean that. Chucking stuff on the bench and literally just turning the camera on, and whatever happens, happens. Whatever breaks, breaks. Then put it in the comment, because I do read the comments. As would have been described in the video before this, I have experienced technical difficulties as happened before. But what I'll try and do is see about a way of getting around that. But, you know, you learn from your mistakes, is what I say, but just keep on going at it. Right, I'm going to finish up the video here because it's probably droned on long enough. But this is just a case of me taking it to bits. I'll be watching the video back to get it put back together and then take it to bits again. This will actually be a good time for good fun now, actually. Oh, that's something else I don't know how to figure out. I really hope the microphone on this is working, because it's the camera that doesn't have a screen. This is my waterproof camera that I got for when I do deep wading, etc., which I haven't done. I do plan to go down Violet's Lane again, because me and Mudslut went down there and the water was over the bonnet. Now that's where you need the camera, and all the events and that, but that's not what this video is about. Right, I've wrapped the video up now. You've got to replace one of these, you've got to reuse it for that. So it's all quite interesting. But practice makes perfect. I know diff and gear oil stink, but that smells of a swamp. That's definitely had a lot of water in there, and judging by the amount of rust. See, that's sort of how your diff works. Right, I'm waffling. Yeah, any comments, any feedback? If you think I should have the camera up higher, or I don't know about a head cam because it'd be facing over there, not sort of here as well. But let me know what you think about the tripod setup I've got. Could do with more lighting, I think, but I'm literally using 2 torches. This is without torches, so improvise, adapt and overcome, as I say. I'm using what I've got. I could always get some more torches and give that a go, but in the same vein, I don't want to be blinding myself. But we'll try this. I might put a torch. Oh, that would have been better actually. Better, I should say. But as I say, you've got to start somewhere. Yeah, any comments, drop them in. I'll read them and see what suggestions are good ideas. Yes, I do know there'll be the comment of just pay a professional, which I think obviously be a good idea. But got to learn somewhere. Cheers. Okay, this is a slight little voiceover. Literally pictures from the phone from when I actually put the unit in the car itself. As you can see, I was taking pictures in multiple steps just so that I could make sure if anywhere along the line I end up with spare parts or spare bolts, I can re-watch the whole video back. As you can see, using a jack stand to take the weight of the transfer case, and that was the hardest part of the whole thing, was removing that tunnel. Here are just a couple more pictures of the different steps as I was doing, and as you can see, someone wanted to fuss, so all work had to cease. And then back to the transfer case itself, again taking pictures along the way. Another better picture of the jack stand taking the weight of the transfer case. Apologies about that blurry one, but as you can see in the background, the sun is starting to go. Hence why it was taken in pictures and not recorded. Still a couple more pictures, using a bit of tissue to make sure that no dirt and grime does actually get inside the transfer case. I did use oil as a flush through, because better to be safe than sorry. And here we have a comparison of the old gears that was removed. I will be keeping them in a separate clean box in case I wanted to reinstall them in the future, but I do end up putting them side by side. Here is the front nose cone, as I call it, with the old gasket, and I was going through the process of scraping off said old gasket. I do say so myself, I've done quite a nice job of the top part. And here we are, left is the original part and the right is the new unit going in. Here we have another better picture of more of the tissue around the transfer case. I'm using a box to cover the diff unit, so it's all ready to install. As you can see, I'm improvising in making it work. Obviously more pictures, I just want to get as many pictures as possible. And here we go, the nose cone with the new gasket ready to go. This is the bearing in the kit. I did try to get the part number on picture, but unfortunately it didn't focus. I did actually take the idea to, well, as the floor pans was out, I will spray them. Unfortunately, the place I got the spray cans did not match the colour up correctly. Slightly annoyed, I'll admit, but, well, it's better than blue. Here we are, sort of all the bits finally getting put together. Unfortunately, I lost the daylight, so I was using the little torches. And as you can see, I'm using a wheel, which you should not do because the jack was not long enough. Final parts and pieces all ready to be put in. And as you can see, it is in with a nice new shiny gasket. And finally, the breather was installed, all ready to go. And I made sure I did not lose this little pin. And here it all is, slowly being put back together. I gave the tunnel a quick clean, reassemble the fuse box cover, then put on the rubber boots, then finally the gear stick, and then topped up with the correct oil. If you did make it this far in the video and you like the way I have put it together, please drop a comment, as I do read them. I'm always up for ideas and suggestions. Let me know what you think about the voiceover, as it's the first time I have done this. I'll be honest, I don't know how it will come out, but it's for testing.